the 18th day of the 8th month in the year 2023. As always, so glad that you decided to start your day with us or starting your morning with us. We can't do this without you. We appreciate you so much. As always, we're highly interactive on the socials. So you're up bright and early. Head over to Facebook, Instagram. We're also on Twitter. Although these days it's no longer called Twitter. There's been a bit of a rebrand. Mr. Siedu, good morning to you. I don't know if you are a user of Twitter, now X.
Yeah.
Are you on the app? But you're not too active.
I'm not active. No.
Which app are you the most active on?
I'm not very active on social media.
How come?
I run through Facebook and then, but I do a lot of the WhatsApp.
Yeah. People in your demographic,
the
WhatsApp
status,
is
I put a lot of things on my WhatsApp.
On the status. I don't go to the WhatsApp status side.
That one is direct. So
that one is too much. That's one. If you see an appeal for fans, they see that you've watched it.
Exactly.
You can't escape. So I don't go there by heart. But it's good to see you. Good morning. Hope you're well.
Yeah, perfect by grace.
How did you sleep yesterday? Peaceful?
Yes. Always.
Mr. Siedu sleeps with no worries at all. Very peaceful. Very. It's because there's something. You also have something heavy in the bedroom.
Yesterday, don't be anxious about tomorrow.
We love it. You've come to exactly the right place. Don't forget as well, today we will be giving out some money, some cold hard cash. We've been at it now for almost 3 weeks, giving you money each and every morning. All you have to do is play. I say it every single morning. If you don't play, you don't win. Star 439 hash. If you have an MTN line, pick it up this morning. It'll cost you only 5 cedis to play, but the rewards are endless. Star 439 hash. Make sure you pick number 143 FM 92.7. You could win on the morning show with myself, William, and Johnny. Win again on the Urban Blend. And then one more time with the dynamic duo, Giovanni and AJ Sapon on the 3FM drive. All you need to do is play, and you could have some cold hard cash in your pocket this morning. Something cool for the weekend. William, what's your budget for this weekend?
Oh. It's a shoestring budget.
Oh my goodness. I thought you had turned the corner, or not quite. Well, very shortly we'll be zooming into the weather. Felicity Ahafianyo, she's the woman for the job. She's a chief forecaster with the Ghana Mets. She'll let you know how to structure your weekend. Maybe you have a romantic picnic planned. You might want to postpone it depending on what the weather is looking like. So do stick with us. After that, we'll take a look at what the dailies have in store for us this morning. We've got a number of papers in front of us. And as always, we'll run through the headlines and take some details as well. A lot for you and I to sink our teeth into this morning. The issues are meaty indeed. And we'll be doing this in tandem with you. Of course, at some point in the show, we'll give you an opportunity to be a part of the conversation. We call it the Voice of the People segment. All throughout the show, we're hoping to dissect the issues in a non-convoluted manner. William, isn't that right? We're breaking down the issues without all the plenty jargon. Because sometimes it's very difficult to unravel the issues.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what it is, it's important that we bring it down so that people who appreciate and associate with the issues. Because if you use all those technical terms, everybody lives a very simple life, but we just decide to complicate it. Everything that is in the textbook that they've written with all those jargons. I mean, they are with us. You know, so it's just that somebody is wearing a suit and tie, so he has to use certain words. But whatever it is our duty as broadcasters, as journalists, to break things down.
Absolutely. And that's what we'll be seeking to do all throughout the show, breaking down the issues, seeking your opinions and views as well. Let's head over to Felicity Ahafia, and you'll find out what the weather is looking like for this weekend. Felicity, hello, good morning to you. Hope you're well.
Yeah, good morning, Helen. I'm better today than yesterday.
Fantastic news. It's looking rather dark, gloomy, cloudy here in Kanda. What does the rest of the weekend look like for the capital and beyond?
Thank you so much, and good morning to our dear viewers and listeners. For today, Friday, we expect it to be cloudy this morning with light rain or drizzle for Greater Accra, Central Western region, and part of the Ashanti region. We expect some showers over the Oti region and into the Savannah and part of the northern region. In the afternoon to the evening hours too, we still expect these conditions to prevail. In terms of temperatures, we expect it to be a bit mild. And then late afternoon, we expect the sun to come out over Greater Accra and part of the southern sector. The north, upper east, upper west, we expect it to have partly cloudy. And then tomorrow into Sunday, we expect them to have scattered cases of rain and thunderstorms. We are expecting the system over Burkina Faso that is likely to descend down to their area. For the state of the sea, we expect it to remain rough throughout the weekend. So fisher folks can go for fishing, but they have to be a bit careful. The windy conditions will be moderate. So, but then they still have to be extra careful. The Volta Lake, those within the Oti region side, because of the rainstorm we are expecting that will drift in from Nigeria, Benin, Togo, they also need to be extra careful, and then stay tuned to our daily updates so that they can protect themselves because of the time. Pressures are a bit high. We expect it to reduce, so I can't really give the exact time for the rainstorms that will be moving over their area. So tomorrow morning they need to get the forecast so that they can plan their activities. So this is how we're expecting it to be for the weekend.
Sure thing, Felicity. Thank you so much for that update. Of course, we'll be looking out for the subsequent updates throughout the day, but we're most grateful. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Wishing you the best of the weekend, and let's pray that the $1 million will land in your account.
Amen. We receive it. Felicity says she's hoping my $1 million drops this weekend. I tap into that blessing. That was Felicity Ahafia with the weather forecast for the weekend. It's still looking very dark and gloomy. Some rain forecasted for the weekend, so make sure you plan accordingly.
3FM Sunrise. 3FM Sunrise.
Sunrise.
The Finder newspaper this morning, and the Finder newspaper has this to say on the front page: automated system to enforce road traffic laws launched. Bost posts 343 million cedis profit after tax in 2022. No panic over health workers exodus. GHS to replace them as over 40,000 trained nurses not employed. We've been talking about this, especially this week. Our professionals leaving our shores, especially the health professionals, nurses going overseas to seek greener pastures. Well, we're told not to panic, that there is no health workers exodus, that there are many other nurses who can take their place. We'll talk about it as we progress this morning. My plans will impact all Ghanaians positively. I wish Crosby was here. Dr. Koto is speaking here. He's also pictured on the front page of the newspaper. I'll check in with Crosby. Maybe he has some extra add-ons for this particular story. Access Bank Ghana records 514.2 million cedis profit before tax in 6 months. Some prosperous news this morning. The Ghanaian Times, Niger political crisis activates standby forces. Nitiwo asks ECOWAS security chiefs. Now, this one, of course, very high up on our agenda as we explore the role of ECOWAS and the conflict in our region. These crisis meetings meeting continues today, started yesterday. We'll give you an update on everything that happened. We'll break down the issues and also seek to see what the future could look like in the event that we actively participate in what is going on in Niger. So do stick with us. EC to accept Ghana card and passport for voter registration exercise, and that takes off between September 12th and October 2nd. Porter jailed 12 years for defiling girl. GHS loses 525 skilled personnel in a year. We'll talk about that, of course, as we progress. Adenta Municipal Assembly supports traditional authorities to observe Homo. Well, lastly, the Daily Guide. EC starts new registration on September 12th. NPP bans macho men mobile phones at voting centers. Cecilia Dapa's husband arrested as she fights OSP over seized funds. The twists and turns in this saga are still very plentiful. We also have our radar on this. We're living in a polycrisis, but don't worry, our tentacles, they spread far and wide. We'll dissect this also as the show goes on. Forestry staff shot by galamseyers, and ECOWAS readies to storm Niger.
Yeah. Truth and accuracy every day. That's according to Daily Graphic. At Defense Chiefs meeting on Niger, we mustn't stifle democracy. That's according to Chairman of CDS. And Presby Church elects new moderator. He's in the person of Reverend Dr. Abraham Nana Oparekwache. And 2023 voters registration begins September 12. On the back page of the Daily Graphic, Ghana Health Service starts malaria elimination program. Communities must derive maximum benefit from mining. That's according to Meku Duka. On the center spread of the Daily Graphic, we remember Kofi Annan, who passed 5 years ago, the former UN Secretary.
5 years now?
Yes.
Wow.
And BNFT, AGI unhappy over Yoko's non-stop presence at members' premises. See, every time the Yoko guys are there and they don't see why. Bank of Ghana clarifies government financing amid economic challenges, and Boss makes 334 million Ghana cedis profit in 2022. That's some good news there.
Absolutely.
Local businesses get major boost to access EU market with UK bank accounts. Transfer introduces Freedom Bank accounts. So if you do business here, you can access the EU market through a UK bank account. That's according to the PNFT.
All right, now this one's caught my attention. Lois, thank you so much for sharing this on our shared platform. Ghana unlikely to fulfill all cocoa contracts after weak harvest. This is on Bloomberg.com. Nation may have to postpone some shipments to future seasons. Crop harvest seen falling 24% below forecast of 850,000 tons. Interesting one there. We'll park it and then we'll talk about it at some point, of course. It's something that we have been dissecting. We'll talk about it as we progress. But let's head to the center spread of the Ghanaian Times. This one captured on page 13. Activate standby forces. Nitiwo urges ECOWAS security chiefs. Now, the Minister of Defense, Dominic Nitiwo, has urged the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to swiftly activate the standby force of the community to restore constitutional order in coup-hit Niger. Mr. Nitiwo said if the junta in Niger was allowed to fester, it would have gained legitimacy and nobody would be safe in the region. Speaking at the opening session of the ongoing 2-day meeting of the committee in Accra yesterday, Mr. Nitiwo said the people of the ECOWAS region were behind the soldiers to undertake the task of constitutional tranquility in Niger. I'm quoting him here. He says, "The spirit of our people in West Africa is with you as you meet here to put the plan in place to meet the ECOWAS directive to restore constitutional order in the Republic of Niger." What I'm picking is that ECOWAS wants to let us know that they are large and in charge, but are they really? Are they really?
People are drawing comparisons with what happened in the Gambia. What happened in the Gambia when Yahya Jammeh lost the election and he was refusing to exit.
Yeah.
Then the people of the Gambia wanted him out.
That's right.
So they backed ECOWAS. And it wasn't a military takeover. It was just an election that had gone, that was going bad.
That's right.
But here in Niger, the people are saying that they are backing the military junta. And if ECOWAS should get in, they are going to, face them more like a human shield. So the communication from the ground is not the same as we had during the Gambia crisis.
That's right.
So I don't think anybody should be drawing similar, elements from those two situations and say, look, we went to Gambia and used force to push out Yahya Jammeh. The dynamics are different. This one is very, very dangerous because the people are saying that, look, we back the junta. So I think dialogue should be the only way out for now. And if it doesn't go, they should still find another way. Escalate it maybe to the AU level or the UN level, because from listening to the experts yesterday, none of the regional blocks, the AU or the international blocks like UN, they're not interested in military intervention now.
Okay.
Because of the possible bloodshed. Because the individuals on the ground, the citizens are always showing clearly that they are for the junta because of what has happened to them in terms of their economy. So I think the conversation should go on. But what they are doing in Accra maybe is just to prepare for a possible intervention and not maybe immediate intervention. That's okay. Yes.
All right. It's still unfolding. We'll take some more views, of course, this morning. It's a very hot topic. I'm just thinking about the ECOWAS's position. The last successful coup was in January of last year, happened in Burkina Faso. I think the ECOWAS is quite keen to let the region know that they are still very much at the helm of affairs, but it does not appear to be so, because in the event that this is also another Burkina Faso, well, then the ECOWAS begins to lose its legitimacy.
You see, if there is a military takeover and ECOWAS behaves like this, but behaves in another way when there's what I call civilian takeover. Because even among the heads of state presently, next door, we have Ouattara.
That's right.
If you go to Togo, he's still there. What did ECOWAS do when those individuals started talking about changing the constitution to stay in power? We saw what happened to Gbagbo. And then he went as far as to The Hague.
That's right.
So ECOWAS cannot pick and choose what to do when it comes to the terms of office of presidents. They cannot pick and choose. If the constitution says 10 years, 5-year term, 10 years maximum, 5-year term, minimum, that's what it must be. You don't sit and watch when a civilian president, is manipulating the constitution to stay in power.
That's right.
Then you don't move, you respect the sovereignty of that country. But when the military officer says, look, what the president, the civilian president is doing is bad, so I'm taking over to right the wrongs, then you step in. I'm not saying coups are good, but it is the principle of what the ECOWAS stands for. In this case, I don't think they even have a moral right. In any case, the chiefs of staff who are here today in Accra, what advice were they giving the presidents that were taken over by coup makers? Because one of the biggest jobs, or if you like, responsibilities of a chief of defense staff is to put his ears on the ground and be advising the president, giving him direction, telling him that, look, the economic situation is bringing so much heat into the system, so do A, B, C, D.
That's right.
Let your finance and economic guys advise you this way. But they sit there and there are coups all over. So in the first place, these army chiefs have failed. These army chiefs, they failed the sub-regional bloc. They have failed. If you go to Nigeria, Boko Haram is all over the place.
That's right.
What have these soldiers done to stop what is happening? These Sahel regions, we're having serious problems there. These soldiers, what have they done?
And we had the numbers yesterday. Since 2012,
yes,
we've seen over 200 coups.
Exactly.
On the continent.
And I'm saying that for a chief of defense staff to sit for a coup to happen in your country, you have failed.
The optics don't look good for the ECOWAS. The optics don't look good at all. High up on the agenda today, so do stick with us. This one caught my attention on the front page of the Finder newspaper. No panic over health workers exodus. Page 2 carries this story. Ghana Health Service, GHS, has assured that the mass exodus of nurses and other health professionals from Ghana for better income and compensation packages abroad has not negatively impacted the provision of healthcare services in the country. Director General Dr. Patrick Kumar-Boaji, who gave the assurance at the minister's news briefing in Accra, said the service had recruited some 33,625 new staff over the last 3 years to boost its capacity to deliver healthcare to Ghanaians. According to him, in the first 6 months of 2023, GHS increased its staffing capacity from 86,000 to 120,000 and taking steps to replace those who had left through further training. William, does that make you feel more comfortable? This is what the Director General is saying, that this panic that we have over our healthcare professionals getting out of the country, going to the UK, Canada, US, Germany, we shouldn't be worried about that. It's not impacting on our healthcare sector.
I agree to some extent because we have a backlog of qualified nurses and other professionals who have not been employed or posted yet.
Right.
So on that score, I think Ghana has a number of professionals who can fill in. But the bigger picture for me is how the conditions of service and the general economic environment is.
Sure.
So when 10 leave, you get 10 to fill. Then over the period, the conditions are not improved. What happens? More will be going. And then that sector becomes unattractive to young people. Because everybody wants to work to make a living. So if on a daily basis, inflation is hitting us, they go to work, they don't get the equipment to do their jobs, and a number of other issues are not resolved, we'll have the people going. But as he's saying, the assurance is there that we are getting a lot of other people in the system who can fill in. So the conversations must be on both cylinders. It's not just the fact that we have the number of people who have been employed, and so if they leave, we'll just let more in. Then it's as if the system is taking the nurses and doctors for granted.
It's like a revolving door.
Because if you go, a lot more will come, so we don't care. But that shouldn't be the picture. Having said that, the way we even plan our communities is also affecting the way the government is able to care for these professionals. As I said yesterday, if there's no intentional town planning, and then we have one community here, one hamlet there, one house there, so the whole community is scattered. The government cannot go and build a hospital for just one or two hamlets.
That's right.
The government cannot go and build a school for just one or two hamlets. So if we have a system where we say, look, this is what the government's housing plan is. A housing plan, when you talk about it, since time immemorial, it has always been with the cities. Nobody even talks about how village town planning
is that planning for our
village
villages?
Housing is planned.
Because like you said, no design.
It's something that nobody discusses. Yesterday I was seeing a video from a friend who's in South Korea. And the description was a village. And I was wondering, is this a village? The standard of planning there is even better than what we see in Accra. So we shouldn't just say town and country planning. What do they do in the villages? Do you even hear them talking? When I say village, I mean village where they live in mud houses, thatched houses. So if that's what we are going to do, to let this doctor stay, you don't post the doctor to a district where one house is here, the other house is there, the hospital is somewhere there, there's no electricity.
It's all interconnected.
So if we are talking about nurses, teachers, and other professionals staying, it starts from even the way we plan our communities, so that all the individuals are gathered in a certain location, then maximum amenities, adequate infrastructure provided. Then you send the doctor there, you send the teacher there, he feels at home.
This is why we're grateful William Mercedes is here each and every morning, providing us with an expansive perspective. Because these are things that sometimes when you're having certain discussions, you don't even think to connect them, but the whole thing is connected.
Exactly.
The whole thing is connected.
Yes.
The saying is, fail to prepare, just prepare to fail.
Yes, because if you go to a village, you just drive outside and get to even beyond in Sawam. You see one house here, the next house is about maybe 500 meters or 1 kilometer away. Then another one, there's no planning in the villages.
They call it vibes and inshallah.
So we shouldn't be. You have been in London.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to the UK villages, what do you see? Planning. It's planned.
Oh yes.
So,
intentionality,
yes,
deliberate, with the people at the center.
And that's how we are able to eradicate this problem of schools
under trees.
Because the government cannot go and build a school. Even some of these blocks that were built in the bush, nobody is going there.
And we saw that with the
because
with the last administration.
The communities are not
nearby.
Nobody, you don't build a school near the forest and ask the person to walk because the community is not planned.
That's right.
And when we talk about town planning, it is just Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, and the other cities. What about the villages? I don't think town planning, town and country, whatever it is, I don't even think they have officers there.
Well, this one here on the Daily Guide, Cecilia Dapa's husband arrested as she fights OSP over seized funds. It's something we will certainly be sinking our teeth into. And somebody who has his teeth out, poised and ready to get biting is Mr. Hughes. Johnny Spite comes up next. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And don't forget, *439#, *439#.